Here we are. It has movie finished up about 30-40 minutes ago. I just got home, got caught up, pet the dog, loved and kissed on the partner, and now I'm ready to discuss my first reactions, my initial thoughts. Once again, I'm going to be saying this quite a bit, and the banner is going to tell you right down below. This is a non-spoiler discussion. Zero discussion on spoilers. Shimu is fine, sort of. But a certain other thing that was revealed recently through the newest Chinese trailer and the new Godzilla X Kong banner that they put out. Um, that will not be discussed. I'm not talking about it. So I'm not going to speak about it. So if someone in the comments um, joins in, hey, GoG66, just got out of Godzilla X Kong New Empire. First viewing today. So I'm going to see it in XD or, yeah, real XD 3D tonight. So in a few hours, we've got 4 hours until that starts. So I'm just going to keep this about 20-30 minutes. First reactions is it's good. Yeah, there you go. It's good. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's the best thing ever. I'm not gonna act like it's the worst thing ever because it's not either one of those things. It might be just first viewing hype. It is kind of feeling like the best Godzilla centric of the MonsterVerse, which technically all of them are besides Kong Skull Island. I definitely say Skull Island is the best out of the films. But I think you can make a debate that this is a very strong number two, which would be pushing down Godzilla versus Kong. But we'll have to see. I'm not going to know by the end of the theater run unless somehow I watch it like 8 or 9 times. And then even still, I like to watch it at home because the at-home experience is really like the test on these movies. It's why I haven't made a film ranking at all because of -1. Excuse me. But it's good. It's fun. It's very entertaining. Wingard did what he did good at in Godzilla versus Kong, and that is just turn the kaiju stuff up. There's a lot of kaiju stuff as it, kind of teases. Hey, Kingzilla, nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. There's a ton of kaiju. I mean, it's impressive. Don't expect endgame level surprises. Okay, you're that you're not gonna get like big whoa moments. Um, but there is some surprises. Well, but that would kind of ruin it. But there is some surprises in this film, and they're very enjoyable. And as a guy who cut himself off of the trailers, um, I have to say I'm kind of glad I did, or not the trailers, the spoilers. I knew a good portion of the movie or sections of the movie. I won't say when and where, but there was parts I didn't. I didn't know the ending at all, so I kind of went into that pretty, not knowing what's going to happen, and it's a lot of fun. Um, the Wingard teased a big action sequence with, like zero human cuts in it, and yeah, it's it's a lot to take in, and it's really, really enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. And I think if he would have done that in Godzilla versus Kong during the final battle, the technical, like if it was, Godzilla versus Kong, and then they wrap up their fight, and then maybe just do the Mechagodzilla stuff. Um, like showing that Mechagodzilla goes berserk like they did, and then they cut back and didn't do any of the other human cut-ins, even though they needed the humans to help. I feel like it would have boosted that end scene a bit. So Wingard definitely stepped it up. He definitely did learn in the kaiju sense. The fights are even more grand. The actual like cinematography, like how these kaiju are fighting, is definitely like if Godzilla versus Kong was a 10. This is like an 11 or a 12. Like, I'm very, very impressed. And I only saw it in like a regular theater. I didn't get to see it in XD, which is the Cinemark equivalent of IMAX. It's kind of. It's not as good, but it's close. Um, and I can't wait to see it in XD 3D tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I can say, if you guys are on the fence about seeing it in 3D, see it in 3D. I don't have to see it in 3D yet to tell you it is going to be a fun movie in 3D. I think they quietly did film some of the scenes for 3D. And by some of the scenes, I mean quite a bit. There's a lot of depth in a lot of the scenes. I cannot wait to talk about how the Hollow Earth looks like in 3D. There's scenes in the trailer, which I'm not going to get like too big into, but like the first initial fight with Kong and Scar, that there's scenes of it in the trailers. I can't wait to see that in 3D. A certain reveal of Shimu is going to look fantastic in 3D. And there's a lot more like with that scene that's going to make it bigger. Um, Anything with Evolved Godzilla, oh my goodness. For anyone worried about Evolved Godzilla, don't worry about him. In the sense of like, is he done right? Like, is it still Godzilla? It's still Godzilla. You're gonna be impressed. They did clean up the CGI for the most part. There's still a few scenes with him that look a little but mainly that when he first breaks out, that we saw in the trailers, it still doesn't look textured right. But whenever he's on screen, it's just like he's there. Like, it feels like Godzilla, and that's kind of the really, really nice part, that Wingard has continued that trend. It's like, oh, that's still Godzilla on the screen. You need to pay attention to him. Even if you're not here for Godzilla and you're here for the Kong part, it's like Godzilla is there on screen. His presence is felt throughout the film. It's really, really nice. Pathos, hey man, how was it? It was great. It was great. Well, it was good. It wasn't great. It was good. It was good. I will say the film, the human stuff, I would say is better than the last film, and maybe that's because there's less human stuff in this film. But it just feels a little bit more natural. The script, I feel like, was way better this time than 2021. Personally, there's still a lot of kind of weird things. There's scenes that they talk about something that should have been shown on screen, but it wasn't, so they kind of just skipped over it. Just got home from the movie myself. Love the score. The music was pretty good. I think it's definitely better than the last movie. I like that there's more brass. There's a lot more drums. The Evolved Godzilla theme, when he's traveling to get to the desert, is awesome. It's intimidating. Wonder This World 97, I thought this had the best human humor. I would agree. It's definitely like, it's still kind of like goofy, silly uh, humor, but it's definitely like, there's actually some moments that are legitimately funny in it, and that was surprising. Um, what's his tracker? The Australian, I believe, the kaiju dentist, kaiju medic, really. I didn't know how I was going to feel about his trailer, or his character from the trailer, and I can say I like him. I hope he comes back. He's definitely one of the better lead protagonists in the films. He's funny. He's legitimately funny. One thing I can kind of talk about that's not really a spoiler, something that me and Joseph Tokusatsu BTS talked about in our stream this past week, or earlier this week. I wanted more licensed music. I didn't want it just to be one, and I wanted it to be different artists, and there was some different songs in there. They're all old. Like, you can definitely tell they were trying to cut budgets for copyright, but a lot of it worked. A lot of it was fun. Bernie, dude, Bernie's actually quite a bit of fun in this film. He he's a bit more on the comedy relief side, but I think it works in this situation. It's definitely nice to see him interacting with adults and not with children. As his, as in a squad. So, and I think that really helps his character and his acting a bit. So I'm very impressed with him. Uh, Gia, our two main lead female protagonists, both of them, did very, very well. I feel like Doc, the doctor lady, I don't know, it starts with an Eileen, I think is her first name. I think she was way better this movie. And I really didn't think she was that bad in the last movie, but I feel like she got a pretty good boost this movie. Gia was pretty good. I actually kind of feel like she almost took a step back, um, just like in a weird way. But they're, it's kind of plot relevant, so which you'll see in the film. They tease it in the trailers, but I won't get into detail. So I kind of understand it, but at the same time, like, mm, you know, it kind of went back and forth. But it was a fun film. The human characters, yeah, they were funny. They were good. They weren't great, but they were good. The critics are kind of tearing this movie up on that fact, and I do get it. I'm definitely not going to say this is like an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 film. It's just not. I feel like, even as a Godzilla fan, I feel like saying that's kind of a little shaky. Like there's a lot of Godzilla films out there that have really good human stories, or at least better human stories. But then you could say the kaiju action's not as good. So, it's kind of a toss up. It's definitely not a bad film at all. They did a good job. Yeah, Scar King. Actually, you know what? Let's move to the kaiju a little bit. Scar King. When I was talking to people who saw the film early, I got a little nervous. I got a little worried about Scar King and his display on film, and I got blown away. He's got a pretty good theme. I guess I don't know if I would call it a theme, but a lot of the music that plays when he's on screen is definitely nice, and it helps build to his character. And just like Kong, um, the ape kaiju are able to emote, unlike Godzilla. Godzilla just always looks stoic and pissed, and that's it. Especially this film, he looks way pissed all the time, no matter what he does. So it's really, really cool to see a villain finally that's not like a main name brand kaiju, that's able to like emote and actually like show emotion. And Scar King was actually a lot of fun. I am walking away from this film, at least with this first watch, being very, very impressed with Scar King. I got nervous there towards, coming up to this film, the build up, but I'm actually very, very impressed with his character, if you want to call it that. He is definitely evil. He's definitely hateable, for sure. They make that pretty clear right off the bat, which is super fun. Kong in this film doesn't go through an arc like the last film, but it's not like a character arc. It's more of like a training arc for him, just him getting better at all the things he does, kind of, sort of. And I think it really works, for now. I think it works. There's more I want to say, but that starts to get into spoiler territory, so I'm sorry, I'm kind of like just stuttering and mumbling through it. I'm really trying not to even suggest things, with these characters. I really want to just let everyone enjoy the film as they can. But Kong has a good, I'll just call it a training arc. It's more of a training arc than an actual like emotional or character arc, and I think it does work. Godzilla, he's the MonsterVerse Godzilla. That's all. That's it. I would say he almost feels like a bigger, with no better word, sorry kids, a bigger asshole in this film than even the last film. And I thought he was pretty stubborn last film, and he feels like he's even more this film, which is super cool. Um, and whenever, like I said, whenever Godzilla's on the screen, or even when he's not, his presence is still felt, and he has a lot of weight to the film. He almost adds like this second layer of tension. It's really cool, and I like where they're going with his character or his presence in the MonsterVerse, like the franchise, the continuity itself. I really like what they're doing. It's wonderful. And they do explain it in the film, and I'll just, I'll let the film explain it. There is something really cool for anyone, not that the MonsterVerse does it a lot, but anyone who power scales the MonsterVerse, um, there is a little detail in there that kind of reveals something that is shocking. I mean, my jaw dropped when I saw it, and it's on screen and then it's gone. It's not said out loud. You have to be watching the screen. Um, but power skill wise, something kind of surprising is revealed, and it makes me wonder what lies in the future. Winky face. Scar King being smaller than Kong, I thought would be an issue, but no. Yeah. Scar is he's impressive. I like the way that they did his character. I like the way that he fought. Um, can't really get more into that without getting into specific details. We'll mention her a little bit. Shimu is fantastic in the film. I feel like she was actually like kind of the rising star for the most part. Her, she's definitely a big presence as well, and that's just where I'll leave it with her, since she's technically revealed and not revealed. So I'll just leave it there. Shimu's great. She's also big, and I'll just leave it at that. There's not a single toy out there that has her in scale right now. So, and the Haya, for anyone who's watching the Haya stuff, the Haya is nowhere near as close as large as it should be, and I hope they fix that. Because if they don't, then I'm not going to get it. So, I want a size accurate Shimu. So if I have to wait for Monster to do it in a year, 2 years, then I guess that's just what I'm doing. It's really it for Kaiju. Like, I mean, that's the main 3/4. Nothing really else there. Like I said, there is some surprises. If you've read the books, you've read the comics, some fun small stuff in there, just tidbits mainly. Nothing too crazy, but some fun stuff. The score, I guess I'll talk about the score a little bit. It's nice. It's good. Not great. I'm definitely not in a rush to buy it. There are themes in there that I'm gonna cherry pick that I really like. I really like the theme that plays with Scar, or just all the music that surrounds him when he's on screen. It's very menacing. It's very nice. Matches his character, and the evolved Godzilla theme that plays after he comes out and he starts traveling is super, super nice. It's really, I won't spoil it for people. I'll let it kind of be a surprise, quote unquote, but it's a lot of fun. I guess with the audio and video, I'll say this: make sure you're paying attention to the sound effects and the roars and some of the other stuff. There's some treats sprinkled out through this film. I would say, in ways, this film feels like it's an evolution from Godzilla vs. Kong, but it also feels like it's paying a little bit of homage to King of the Monsters in some way, shape, or form. I'll leave it there. And that's a lot of fun. The one thing that's, it's really becoming apparent is that this MonsterVerse feels super separated. 2014 and Skull Island, even though those two are pretty separate, they feel different, feel way different than these other three. And then 2021 and 2024 feel way different than 2019, and 2019 is the outlier. And it's not good for movie franchises to do that, or same continuity franchise, films to do that, all that are in the same saga. So it was nice that this one kind of felt like it was a bridge from, to 2021, but also 2019 a little bit in some small ways. Nothing major, but you can definitely tell Wingard is a Showa film. or show up film fan. The 80s synth for some of the human scenes, yeah, it's good. Not, and just I I'll I'll kind of wrap it up here because it's I can't really talk more without saying spoilers, and I don't want to accidentally drop anything. I'll leave it at this. When you look at the critics' reviews and you see it at like 60s and 70s, don't be mad. Okay, this film is good. If you're looking at it critically, or if you're just looking at it as a film, if you think it's amazing and it's your favorite film out of the Godzilla franchise, awesome. I'm glad it did that for you. But looking at it just as a film and critically, it's a good film. The monster action is great. The human side is, although better, it's still not up to snuff with some of its Showa counterparts, some of its Heisei counterparts, some of its Millennium counterparts, and definitely not as good as its Reiwa counterparts. Um, and there's bits and pieces that are better than some of the other MonsterVerse films, and there's bits and pieces that are not as good as other MonsterVerse films when it comes to human stuff, and that does drag it down. But for what this film is supposed to be, which is just a big kaiju brawl film, it excels, and I'm impressed. I'm actually walking away from this film impressed. My expectations were pretty mid-level, and they upped the bar a little bit. And that, in and of itself, for me personally, is a highlight. Because I just went in being like, it's as good as Godzilla vs. Kong, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. And like I said, it might be the hype that it's a new film. I really do think this is going to be my number two. I think it's going to be my number two film of the MonsterVerse so far. Skull Island being one, because Skull Island's just a really, really good film. Let alone a good kaiju film, because it's got good human characters. Some are really good, some are good, and then it's got really good kaiju action. And that's what, when I look at the MonsterVerse films, I base it to Skull Island, because it's got good in both and great in both. So that's the bar for me, and I would say it got closer to it. It got closer, So, but that's about it. I like the film a lot as well. Yeah, it's definitely Dolly Vore. Nice to see you. Thanks for commenting. It's good. It's definitely good. I do recommend people seeing it, even if you're a little bit, on your seat about like maybe seeing it. It's worth it. Do you have to see it tonight? Do you have to see it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday on a prime time viewing? No. If you have the funds and you have the time, a lot of films, tickets are cheaper after the first weekend, and they're cheaper before 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. If you can go see it 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 10 a.m., do it. See it cheaper. See it for $5, $6, $7. I think it's worth it. It's definitely a film that, no matter what, I think you should see it in the theater at least once. This is a theater film. No doubt about that. Even Yamazaki, during the IMAX interview with Wingard, admitted that this is a film you want to see on the big screen. And I do think, without seeing it in XD, this is a film you're going to want to try to see it in IMAX. So try to see it in the best quality, but IMAX tickets / XD tickets or whatever AMC does for their high quality is a bit more expensive. So I can also understand. Wander This World, my ranking would be King of the Monsters, New Empire, 14, GVK, and Skull Island. Nice. I'll probably... Scar was a real punk Beastars. I thought from the action figure that he would look much more terrifying, but liked how he was. Yeah, no, that's one of the things I'm walking away with is I am very impressed with Scar King. I liked him when they first showed him off, and then as we saw more, I kind of got a little bit more worried, and then I heard things from some people and some of the spoilers, and I got even more worried, and then during the movie, raised it right back up. I purposely made people not tell me about anything about Scar King as much as they could, so I could just judge it on my own, and I'm impressed. He's a villain for sure. Now, there is that quote from way back when the first teasers came out, after we kind of learned about Scar for real. Is he the most powerful villain in the MonsterVerse? Probably not. Uh, I definitely don't think he could take out Ghidorah or Mechagodzilla, but maybe. You know, you never know. You never know. He's good. He's a good villain. When it comes to like power level wise, I don't know how that works, but like intimidation wise, like the height definitely like it does something for me in a good and in a bad way. Like I like it. Like I think they did the shortness good, but they didn't. I don't know. I like Scar King, and I'm more impressed than what I thought I would be. But do I like Scar King more than Mechagodzilla? I mean, Mechagodzilla wasn't really done the best, so I might like Scar more than Mechagodzilla, honestly. But Ghidorah in 2019 is like Ghidorah. So that's kind of where I'll have to think about that. I'm gonna have to watch the movie a few times too, because you never know. You never know. But if I were to rank the villains, like the Mutos are at the bottom, and then the Skullcrawler, and the Mechagodzilla, and then Scar and Ghidorah at top two. I think. Um, Scar slash Shimu, since they're technically both. But you know, it's a good film. Scar's fun. We'll see. I'll let you guys see how strong he is. Don't go in thinking he's weak. That's one thing I'll say. But like I kind of said earlier, I'm not a power scaler with the MonsterVerse stuff. I like to see the facts, which is why there's something so interesting that's put on screen for a second. That's a lot of fun. But I'm not like an official power scaler. I can power scale Dragon Ball all day, but I'm not going to power scale the MonsterVerse. It's kind of out of my realm. It's always hard, especially like Godzilla in these films are just he's all over the place. But Scar is fun. Shimu's fun. Kong is a lot of fun. Oh, you know who I didn't talk about yet, and I can't fully talk about Suko. Suko. we'll end it on Suko because Suko was kind of the meme. You know, Scar King might not be the most powerful, but possibly the most skilled. You know, that's probably the best way to explain him. Um, but you know, we'll see. Suko is like my theater wasn't that film or filled. There was a dad that did take his kids out of class though to come and see it, and I remember when Suko first is revealed, the the two kids and the dad were just like, "Oh, it's Suko," and then there was a couple behind me that were also kind of giddying about it, and I just thought that was really adorable. Which I don't blame them. Suko is a lot of fun. Um, Once again, Suko is definitely one of those. You need an adorable character to sell as a plushie for a film. It helps the merchandise, but they did a really good job at just not making Suko that, and Suko having a character and having Suko actually do things is great. I'm excited to watch it again. I'm excited to see Suko on the screen again. Suko is just a fun. I can't wait for the girlfriend to see that because we're always joking about Suko a little bit, being goofy. He's cute and adorable, and feisty, very very feisty. We see that in the trailer. You know, seems like he takes a nip out at Kong. It's crazy. It's a good film. It's a fun film. I've got a smile. Can you see? Can you see the smile, guys? Okay, can you see it? I'm I'm happy with this film. I'm impressed. Uh, yeah, Doug is in it, and Doug is also ends up being really adorable. It does make me want that Playmate set, but I'm not gonna go, hound my Target for it. I heard there was a Target exclusive, but then some people found it at Walmart, so I don't really know what's going on there. But Doug is great. Doug is fun. Zuko's fun. The film's just fun. It's just for us adults, for or younger students or younger adults that might have a lot of stress, a lot of weight on your shoulders. This is a fun film just to sit down in the movie theater, or when it's eventually home, which the Blu-ray and the 4K was already announced, which is super crazy. Walmart already announced that it has an exclusive steelbook, so the turnaround on this film might be quicker than we think. It's just a great movie to breathe in, breathe out, relax, and just watch it. It's just a lot of fun. I kind of wish my movie theater had a bar, because I do want to watch the film not sober one way or the other. But Playmates, oh yeah, I kind of figured from the looks of it, the Suko figure had bad knees, which it's a small figure, so I get it. It's a $10 figure, $11 set. Um, but yeah, it's just a good film to take a deep breathe in, breathe out. Don't go into it like super critically or harsh. It's just a fun film to sit and watch and enjoy. Kaiju action is out of this world. It improved once again, and it's visually stunning as well. It looks very nice. There's some oohs and ah moments, and you're gonna have fun. Unless you really don't like Kong. There's a lot of Kong in this film, which for me, they're winning me over on Kong. Okay, they're winning me over. They have been since Skull Island. Personally, it just keeps happening. They keep making me fall in love with Kong. So, but that's it, everyone. We're gonna end it here before I ramble on and accidentally drop something spoilery. I don't want to do that. Thanks everyone for popping by and stopping in. We had Dolly Vor, Wander This World 97. We had Pathos. We had Goji 66, Kingzilla. Thank you guys for hopping in, saying hello, leaving some thoughts. Remember, Sunday will be hopefully the big group review of this film, all, or at least most of the guys and me. It'll also start off the 70th anniversary Godzilla film movie marathon weekly reviews. They'll move to a different day of the week besides Sunday. So be prepared for that. Be ready. By that point, I'll see it at least 2 times, maybe a third. Nah, I'll only see it 2 because I work the next 2 days, and I'm not going to go see it early on Sunday. I'm going to sleep. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy the film. Happy Godzilla X Kong New Empire Day. Bring a Godzilla with you. Bring a Kong with you. And have a wonderful day. Also, if you guys are into Safubi, hopefully you guys got the Evolved Godzilla Mondo release that dropped. I got one, and it sold out. The Kong is about to sell out. So if you're thinking about it and you have the funds, consider. That's it, everyone. Thanks again. Bye, everyone. See you guys later.